Oh, man, oh man, do we have a busy Saturday? We've got 5 interviews. What is the matter with me? Uh, so, look at who we have, boys and girls, to start us off. I'm going to mess up his last name. I know it's been said before, but I'm just going to say this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid on a fine Saturday, 12 high noon, stirring the pot with our very special guest, Edwin. I don't want to hack your last name. Uh, so welcome, Edwin, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Don?
Good, my friend. So I did ask you, and I'm not that bright. You did tell me. Well, could you please could you please tell us your last name, my friend?
For the record, it's Acevedo.
Acevedo, very Latino. So you, my friend, are obvious Latino. See,
Yeah, yes, Puerto
uh,
Rican.
that, uh, that's about the extent of my Spanish. I'm sorry. Oh, I do know some colorful Spanish words.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know some of those.
I think everybody knows.
Well, thank you for spending the time with us. You are setting the pace for a very busy day on Stirring the Pot, my friend. I brought you on for a couple reasons. Obviously, we know each other at the wrestling events. We have some fun cheering, cheering the boys and girls. Me and you are kind of on the different sides of that, though, and that's why I wore this beautiful Dan the Man uh,
Yes.
t-shirt. I knew you'd appreciate that. There's two reasons for this shirt. Uh, First off, Dan the Man. That's just let's say that. Second off, it's very comic bookish, if you will, and we're
Mhm.
going to be getting into that a little bit later. So again, thank you for spending the time. I want to start with uh, crazy times out there right now. Is everything okay with yourself, your family, your friends, all your circle, and all of that?
Oh yeah, man. Thankfully, everybody's safe and sound. Everybody's good. So, knock
Mhm.
on wood. Hopefully, we'll continue that into the new year.
Nice. Uh, Now I'm looking at my video, and it's kind of getting this weird flashy thing. Are you seeing that?
Yeah,
Uh, do you mind if I stop and then come back? Because I would hate for the whole interview to look like that. That would be horrible. I'll stop, I'll call you, and then we'll come right back. Is that okay?
definitely.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. I think we're good, my friend. That was some weird stuff. I don't know if there's some ghostesses in my area or not. That was the weirdest thing. I've never had that happen.
It's
But anyhow, uh, but anyhow, you said your family, your circle, all of that. You're good over there.
Yeah, everybody's good. So, thankfully that'll continue into this new year.
Yeah. Everybody's been waiting for 2021. It doesn't feel any different, but
Nope.
here we are.
Same.
So, what I'd like to start with, though, is I don't know a damn thing about Edwin except we have some fun at the shows. Uh, you seem to have a very strong fandom for wrestling. You go to many shows, different places than I go to. I go to seem to go different places than you go to. But that's what the thing about fandom is. We all come together, we share our stuff on the medias, and we get to see all of these fun times that we have at wrestling. I'd like to start with, have you been, I'm assuming, you've been a lifelong wrestling fan? What's going on there?
Oh yeah, ever since, some of my earliest memories, like 5, 6, 7 years old. I remember seeing like a VHS of Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, and then it's kind of like some of my earliest memories. And then, grew up kind of mid to late 80s, really kind of started my fandom, and it's kind of continued for the most part. There's been a couple dips here and there, but for the most part, in one form or another, I'm still a wrestling fan.
I find that in wrestling fans. Sometimes we just take a break or something. It's kind of weird because I've done that myself, watching Raw and the SmackDowns, and then it's like, and the other companies. But I'm like, man, I just need a break. I'll take a year off. I've kind of swept it back a little bit, come back, and you're like, it's almost exactly the same, but just a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And you find different companies, you find different avenues, so you find different ways to kind of respark that passion. So
Exactly. And nowadays, my friend, I mean, there. I've said this 1,000 times on this show. Wrestling is so flourishing right now. You have so many avenues, so many options, not just in the United States, but all across the globe. That, especially with the social media nowadays, there's so much to take in. I don't think a fan can take in all of the wrestling that's out there, but there are definitely many, many more choices than there were way back then. Now, influences, did your pop or did your grandfather or your mom or somebody turn you on to wrestling as you were a child?
Initially, it was my dad, but
Okay.
said once I kind of saw first couple of VHSs, I was hooked after that. It didn't matter if I saw wrestling, I stopped, I marked down where I saw it, and then I went back some more. So it
uh,
kind of off by
so
itself.
WWF was your go-to, because that's all we knew back then, pretty much. I mean, there was some other stuff like I was growing up on the AWA, WCCW, NWA, and stuff like that, and with the WWF. So was the WWF kind of what you knew growing up?
For the most part, pretty much to like the late '80s, probably to about like '90-ish. That's when I kind of found WCW. And then I
Okay.
kind of started like watching both. And then, once the mid '90s came, it was ECW. And, it's kind of like, back in those mid to late '90s were a great time. You had three great companies running around.
Uh, First, we had the Monday Night Wars. They're not the Wednesday Night Wars. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
The Wednesday Night Wars are definitely not the Monday Night Wars, but they tried to rekindle that a little bit, which is fun. Hey, it is what it is. But back in those days, like you were saying, you had the Monday Night Wars going on. Then out of nowhere, ECW starts coming out at 1 o'clock in the morning. I saw it on channel MSG in my area. I'm from Connecticut. You're from Massachusetts, correct?
Most of the
Um,
ECW stuff I found was mostly through like VHS tapes.
oh,
You
okay.
give it a like trade swap, and you'd order some from magazines and stuff, and so it kind of I would find tapes like a year later to find out what was going on until probably like it's probably like 97 ish, 97, 98 when they started getting like their pay-per-views going, and then that's when I kind of was able to keep up with them a little more regular basis.
Right. Uh, I was lucky because there was a channel called MSG, Madison Square Garden, and they had ECW at 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. And my dad really fell off wrestling. He got me into wrestling, but he really fell off wrestling because of the soap opera crap that goes on within wrestling. To kind of it's the entertainment part. He really just never could take much of it. So I told him about ECW. My father would set his alarm on Saturday just to wake up, have a little coffee, watch some ECW, and he got right back into wrestling for a little bit there. It was really, really cool. So ECW changed the game back then.
Yeah, they pushed the envelope, like I think, so that's what led, in my opinion, to the Attitude Era. Like WWF saw the kind of that fervor that ECW was creating, that buzz, and they needed something different to compete. That's kind
Yeah.
of when they went more towards the ECW style, and like I said, that kind of led to them really breaking away and becoming number one.
Very edgy, very racy, bloody, violent, barbed wire, weapons. We didn't see none of that shit. Uncle Vince would never give us that, especially on TV. Wow, ECW just totally blew my mind. And again, I want to revert back to my father because it's that rekindle of wrestling that I said, hey, Dad, just check out one show, and I'm telling you, you're going to be hooked. And my father was so hooked. That's all he talked about. He's like, did you watch Saturday's ECW? I go, of course I did. It was only an hour, but my word, it gave us so much. There was so much excitement to talk about from week to week with ECW. So I'll never forget that,
Uh,
ever, ever.
Also, like the show structure, you see a
Yeah.
lot of that also in the current WWF. Like they keep hitting you. First a promo in the back, then they go to the match, then something happens backstage, and it's another promo, then it's an interview, then they set up the next match. So they always kept you for that whole hour. You couldn't really turn away, even during commercials. You'd be like, "Come on, 2 minutes, hurry up, hurry up. What's next?"
just talking about it, my friend. I know you can't see that, but those chills are kicking talking about just going to commercial being like, I got to go take a piss real quick. And I am not missing a damn second of ECW. It was such an exciting time back then.
It was, like I said, when those three companies were going strong, it was probably the best time ever to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, great stuff. And it's crazy because we're talking 2021, Edwin, and we still see the likes actively. I want to point out actively in ring working. Talking about ECW days, we've seen some of it personally. We see the likes of Just Incredible. He's still on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
We see the likes of Sandman. He's still on the scene. We see the likes of Shane Douglas. The franchise is still working that ring, my man. He just went against Dirtbag Dan. Yeah, let me re-say that again one more time. Shane Douglas, the franchise, against the Dirtologist, Dirtbag Dan, in a cage match. Okay? Very recently, I did a little watch party about a month ago or so with the match because it was on Facebook. And yeah, so we're talking active ECW wrestlers 2021. Not only that, though, I want to touch upon one guy mainly, is Tommy Dreamer has never stopped, has his own company, HOH, the whole 9 yards, very active in helping the boys and girls behind the scenes. That kind of stuff, as a fan, for me, is just absolutely so cool to see because we've seen the evolution of it go from time to time. We've seen ECW go into WWE. I mean, please. That was horrible. But the evolution, and we're seeing these guys do this stuff. As one Tommy Dreamer, though, has been going through it all along the way. Isn't it really cool as a fan to see a guy like Tommy Dreamer just continually doing his thing?
Yeah, like I said, he's kind of found his own kind of style. He's evolved as he's gotten older. So he's not trying to do the same kind of craziness that he used to when he was younger. So, he's able to kind of rest his body and, be able to continue to perform. So that's always great to see, man. Always respect and love to all the legends out there, man, still doing it.
Yeah, man. That's for sure. And I know they don't look the same. Some of the fans like to get the chatter. Oh, look at that guy, blah, blah. Dude, it's 20 years later. I mean, come on. For some of them, it's like...
If I can go as strong as Tommy's going at his age, I'll take it. That's not a problem.
Absolutely. And what's real fun, though? Again, as a fan's perspective, seeing him come on out with his trunks are the polka dots. He's got the polka dots still kicking around. Dude, I love that stuff. Those little nuances. And I've talked about that with the talent on this show, is those little nuances. We're so easy as fans. It does not take much to get us going. So wearing trunks with the polka dots on it and just putting your arms out still and stuff like that, man, really, really cool stuff as a fan to see,
Yeah, kind of re-sparks that that nostalgia. People always use that as a bad word. It's not, it's a beautiful thing, anytime I get to meet some of these guys that were on the Monday Night Wars, it's always a pleasure, man. Like, I don't care if they're older or whatever. Like, come on, man. I got to meet D'Lo Brown, man. I used to love D'Lo. All that stuff. Hell yeah, man. You gotta meet D'Lo, Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great time. And, just in life, general, things were easier. There was, overall safer, Back in those years, you're like, man, we had it good. So why not remember those good times?
Now, I kind of want to switch over to the independent scene because this is where I've met you, and I see that you're very active in it as a fan. You go to Beyond shows and all of the other, smaller independent organizations that are around your area. We go to shows where sometimes there's only 5 of us, 10 of us, 20 of us. But then you go to some shows, there's 100, 200, 300, 400 people, So we go to so many different promotions that give us different flavors with different environments, different feels and stuff. But I've noticed that, obviously the evolution of wrestling with the evolution of the wrestling fan has come selfies, taping footage I do it, you do it, and such. I see you do it with many of the men and women on the independent scene. What kind of got that rolling with you? Because it's not always easy to just approach some of these people that we see in the ring, man. Your heart starts going, and you're like, they're gonna totally say no. What got you going on that?
To me, I only just recently discovered independent wrestling. I'd known about it. I knew like some smaller promotions, but I never really knew anything was going on around these parts. Like I looked into it like probably 2017-ish, I think. I was on Facebook. I'm not like a Facebook user for the most part. I had only recently started the account, probably a couple of years prior, just to like keep up with family and stuff. And then I started following some more wrestling related pages, and I stumbled on this like promo for Tennille Dashwood. She was making an appearance for Women's Wrestling Evolution, and I was like, this is cool, So I kind of clicked on it, looked for information. I'm like, hey, that's going on in a couple of weeks. That's in Worcester. I'm like, I might be able to make that. I had to make some plans, and kind of ask for some favors, but we made it happen. So that was like really my first time ever. The only shows I'd ever gone to before were WWF shows at
Okay.
the Civic Center. I'd gone
Okay.
to a house shows. I went to SmackDown. There's actually a clip of a random episode of SmackDown, like a 2-second clip where they take a shot of the crowd of this person holding a sign, and right next to the girl is me and my best friend talking, and you get to see us on SmackDown for like 2 seconds, like it's 1999 or something. It's hilarious. Like, yeah. So yeah, like the fact of going to an independent show was really cool. I thought, hey, I'll check it out. I'm a big Tennille Dashwood fan. She had just left the WWF, so WWE, I should say, and so I kind of went, just kind of took a chance, like randomly, and it's like, hey, we'll go check this out. And then I was there, and like I said, it was kind of scary, especially for me. Like I have a lot of let's say like social anxiety issues that I kind of been working on the last
Mhm.
couple of years. So, I just kind of took a shot, and I met her. She was very nice, and, kind of hung around by like the pre-show, like, let you in like a 30 minutes early or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm just standing there and, kind of taking it in. I'm feeling a little shy. And I see all these guys, although like the wrestling fans going up to this like, this is what I found out was a pro wrestler. Where everybody was like taking pictures and stuff, and I just kind of went up randomly. Ended up being Skylar.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know who she was. Like I just like, oh, like everybody's being like really friendly to her. Like is she like a ring announcer? Like I didn't know what. I just came up to her, introduced myself, and she was the sweetest person ever. She kind of like completely mellowed me out. And yeah, she just kind of like told me she was on the show, and she showed me some of like her 8x10s and stuff. And I was like, took my first ever like selfie with anybody that's like, just coming up and asking. Uh, and yeah, she was really sweet and kind, and kind of like once that happened, once the show started, I kind of got into it, and the ladies, and like, it was a star packed show. Like they had tons of women who now on like Shotzi Blackheart was there, all these
Mhm.
other women that completely are taking over right now. And that
Yeah.
was my first ever show, and it completely just like reignited like a passion in me. Like seeing it up close, I was right there at the ring, slamming, my hand down, watching the action for like 2 hours, and after that, look, man, I was like, I need to go to another show somewhere, and I started kind of looking for like different promotions and stuff, and ever since then, I've been trying to go to as many shows as possible. Anything that I can make, I usually try and go make it, man. So yes, the
Yeah.
last 2 years have been pretty wild.
And I did it was the same exact thing for me. I was playing music for quite some time. Was kind of coming on a downturn of it, and I was looking for something else to do because I didn't really have any other hobbies. And I'm like, I dig wrestling. I go, you know what? I'm just gonna look up because I was on Facebook at the time for the band stuff. And I'm like, I'll look up some wrestling and see if there's anything in my area. Same exact thing you did, and I found Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. Ever since then, it was like 2016. Ever since then, dude, I can't stop. It's a drug to me. I don't know what the hell happened, but I feel like you kind of nailed it. It's that intimacy difference from going to the Civic Center. Then you go to this show and you're like, I know I am. Me personally, I'm not on the card. My name is nowhere on the poster. It's nowhere, has nothing to do with the WWR or what have you. But man, I just feel so part of the show because of the intimacy that's there and all of the crowd that's around me and everything that's going on. So I think it's the environment for both of us that just really gets you, man.
Yeah, there's nothing like it, like being up close. You see the hits, you see the slams, you see, when things go right, when things go wrong. But you see, these guys and women, they give you their all, man. Like, like
Yeah.
they're out there, they don't care if there's five people. They're gonna
Yeah.
bust their ass. And I admire the hell out of that. I admire the grind. I love seeing the success. Like I said, seeing Satsi, seeing her for the first time, I knew she was a star. I was like, I don't know who she is. I've never seen her before, but I know she's gonna be a star. Since somebody sees her, she's gonna be huge. And next thing you know, she's on NXT now, one of their biggest stars. I'm like, yeah, I knew that the moment I met her, and I took that selfie with her. I was thinking, like, a couple of years when somebody sees her, she's gonna blow up. Next thing you know, 3 years later, there you go. And then that's awesome seeing that journey.
And, and that's another element that I feel is part of the most amazing um, thing that happens with independent wrestling as a fan, because we get to see their journey, we get to see their evolution as a character, we get to see um, sometimes, and I'll use AG as an example. AG is now August Gray. So I mean, you see these things happen. Keith Lee, Dijak, uh, uh, Tommy End. I mean, I can't stand when they changed his name because I was so confused and he became Aleister Black. But I was like, no, man, that's my man Tommy End. So these things, we get to see that journey. And I think that's really such a privilege for all of us as fans, and that's why I do these shows, Edwin. And that's why I'm at the events. That's why I like to get these promos and stuff, because I want to get the Elijah Sixes. I want to get the guys that are just starting from day one at Test of Strength Wrestling, because you never know. He could be in NXT in 3 years. He could be in NXT in 6 years. You just never. He could be in NXT in another year. You just never know where these talents, when they start, where they're going to go and how quickly. So that's exactly why I started doing the promos and stirring the pot, because I wanted to reach out to the men and women that didn't get those chances to speak and tell their stories, because a lot of people don't reach out to the smaller branches of wrestling, if you will.
Yeah, no, that's it's a great thing that you do. Like I think you know, I had a very similar kind of idea. Sadly, I've been sidetracked for the last couple of years. So I haven't been able to do as much on my channel, my pages I like to, man. But it's great seeing all these interviews, getting to know all these great talents that we have around the area. And like I think the biggest thing is just exposure, because once people see some of these men and women, like the time will come. Like all they need's an opportunity. There's a lot of talent, and then there's like I said, once things open up a bit more, a lot of companies gonna be hiring. They're gonna be looking for the next wave of talent, and
Yeah.
it gets snatched up like nothing. So stay grinding, stay doing promos, stay wrestling when you can, and you'll get your shot.
And we both know in wrestling, if you're not putting your stuff out there, you become not totally irrelevant, but people kind of forget you because others are giving themselves a spotlight. They're giving promos, they're giving match highlights. They're saying, hey, I've got this one-off match. It's going to be outside. It's going to be undisclosed. Nobody's going to be there, but footage is coming soon. There's a lot of the men and women that are still doing that. So if you're not in our eyes, we kind of forget you at times.
Use your social media.
Yeah,
Uh, if you got a Facebook page and you got a match coming up, cut a promo on there. Hit up
absolutely.
Don, get hit up Foggy. Hit
Hell
me
yeah.
up. I'm close to 60. I'll get you on there. I'll get you know, like I have nothing but open love for anybody who wants to do anything. If you want to set up an interview, I don't do Skype except for Don, but I can do StreamYard. We can record something over StreamYard.
Okay.
My platform's here, man. I want to give back for all the entertainment and love that I've gotten over the past years. Because I'm selfish. The reason I go to these shows because how I feel. Like
Yeah.
after a long week, on the weekend if I can go catch a PvP show and I can I can boo all the good guys. There's nothing better than that. Give Bacon a hard time.
We do have so much fun at the shows. I did want ultra quick second, my friend, real quick, real quick. I did want to point out though, we do have some fun at the shows, and with that said, I obviously kind of don't care. I'm loud. I'm ridiculous. I'm a jackass. I kind of get in your face. Edwin, though, on the flip side of that, he's a little bit reserved, a little more quiet. One of those guys you got to watch out for. He's a little bit more reserved, but we equally have as much fun in our own way, and that's what is awesome about wrestling fans, and what it brings to the table. And I want to use one show specifically because I've never seen so much Edwin in my life come out and blossom. We were at ICE. It was their only show, and we were kind of hanging out together. And there was some heel face stuff going on over at that show. And look at my man smile. That's what I love right there. Did we not have a blast at ICE? And I know you remember it like it was yesterday.
Great time. Like I said, some of like the smaller, kind of more random shows, I think are like some of the best. Very early on, I decided, this idea of like, it doesn't really matter who's on the show. Like if I can make it and it's reasonable, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Mhm.
check it out. So that show I opened up. It was last minute decision, but something opened up. Oh, I can make it. Let's go. Like, it doesn't matter who's on the card. Like I didn't know if anybody would be there. If I'd be the only person who shows up, but I'm going. The doors are open. I'll be there. And then I saw you. I saw Larry. Don was there, and everybody was. And it ended up being like an absolutely hilarious show. And
It
it was
was.
so yeah, I'm glad. It's the reason. Say yes. I was a big kick of that. Say yes, yes, and you won't regret it.
So much fun. Hey, and if you didn't go, Edwin, we wouldn't have these fun memories. And I've spoken to that to the talent on this show. We fans, we leave those shows with specific memories from X match or pre-show, post-show, whatever it may be. There's memories that we take and we chatter about to our family, our friends, or whatever. And they do it too. It's the same exact thing on the other side. The wrestlers, they go home with certain things. Maybe Kincaid said something stupid that caught his or her eye. They take that. Or if something specific happened coming out their entrance, or whatever the case may be, they still take those memories with them and do the same thing that we do. And I find that just simply amazing because it's a relationship that makes wrestling with the fans and the wrestlers.
Yeah, definitely. You can. Cool thing about it, it is more intimate. It's I think in many ways it's more real. Like that you kind of get to see the kind of the realness of it. I think there's nothing like if you haven't seen what these men and women put themselves through. When they're hitting and there's you see the ring shake. See all the slams and everything. You get like a real appreciation for it even more when you see it up close.
Uh, Now, appreciation. Speaking of appreciation and up close, I know that you have seen at least once a ring either being put together or taken down. Am I correct on saying that?
Yes, I've seen a ring fall apart.
Me too. Me too. uh, Now, the reality of it is this: some people, that wrestling is this or wrestling is that. They put labels on whatever. There's no trampoline under there. There's no cute little support system that saves their body. This is as medieval as this shit gets, and it goes and it gets put together like this. Raw iron is the frame. and then planks of wood go across. Then this little itty bitty piece of padding goes on top. Then there's a canvas. That's the entire thing. So when you hit that canvas, man, that is some real shit. It hurts like an MFer, and it is no joke. And like you said, I respect anybody. And I don't care if you're a manager, a referee, ring announcer, whoever you are, because it takes so many pieces of that puzzle to get that show, that event, that one match, even just a match together. I respect them all for just getting in there and taking the bumps and such, because that is no joke, bro, at all.
No, and like I said, you kind of get to see like that. To me, I think one of the coolest things, if you really want to get a real appreciation, is watch them take the ring down after the show. You know, that's when you really see like these people, they're doing it the old-fashioned way. You're paying your dues. So, I have, like I said, my respect for all like independent wrestlers is big time. I try and support them as much as I can if I can buy any merch or whatever, and just, just shout them out on social media or whatever, anything I can do, to kind of show support. I'll go out of my way to do, because, I believe in it, and it's like I said, I want to see these men and women succeed. I want to see them blow up. I want to see them get their opportunity. There's a lot of talent, and I think there's going to be more signed up in the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, that, like you said, the wave is coming. Absolutely.
And I think their shot's coming. And hopefully, they'll get the big opportunity, because I think they're a terrific tag team, and the stuff that they can do, the matches they've had the past couple of years have been amazing. So I want to see them in there. All the others succeed. Excuse me.
And they said, when I first started doing, little clips and stuff, putting it on social media, I was always told, you never know who's looking at your stuff. You never know who's watching, because even though there's no little like, there's no little heart or a sad face, mad face, even though there's no reaction, even though there's no comment, that doesn't mean that your media hasn't been seen by others and either taken for themselves and shown other people, or what have you, shared in a different fashion. So you never know who's watching your stuff, Edwin. So I appreciate you doing that as a fan, because a little by little by little, that little network of the fans and such, just sharing a picture, a video or such, that goes a long way for them, because of the exposure, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's especially when you can get like Foggy's platform is great for that. He's got tons of views, and just getting on there, you can get on a playlist, you can get if you have autoplay on, you can find stuff by accident sometimes, and you never know, somebody might be a fan, somebody might see somebody and then look up their social media and find out where they're wrestling next. There's tons of ways to find that content now, so the more you can just get stuff out, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you did mention who are some names, and it doesn't have to be a laundry list, but just give us maybe 2 or 3, 4 names. It could be tag teams, men, women, no matter what. You did mention a tag team. Who do you think is going to be part of that next wave that we've been seeing on the independent scene right now?
Yeah, I think definitely Mainstay Posse's definitely. I think they're I think if everything hadn't happened, they might have already had a big opportunity. I think they're absolutely tremendous. From the first time I saw them, I think I saw them at a Blitzkrieg show, wrestling, and they just blew me away. Like, they have such great just like cohesiveness to them. Their tag moves are crisp. They're both great workers. Like, they can do a lot of high flying. They can do technical, and like I said, they have a very unique look and style and charisma to them. Everything from the entrance, when they come out, they feel like, oh, who are these guys? Like, they have this arrogance about them, but it's like in a fun way. It's not like an obnoxious kind of thing. So it was very easy for me. I actually went with a buddy of mine, my best friend. He doesn't go to a lot of shows, but every once in a while he'll come with me, and we went to see it, and we both left that show just being like huge MSP fans. We were like, I don't know who these
Awesome.
guys are. We want to see them again, you know. So I think they're definitely wants to look out for. Davian, I think also is as good a wrestler as there is on the independents, and I think with a lot of the women being signed, and more talent signed, there's no way like you would be just making a huge mistake if you don't sign her to work and make all your wrestlers better. This is I've seen her wrestle women, men, and it doesn't matter. From her wrestling Skylar and having a classic to her and John Silver beating the absolute crap out of each other. So it's just like she's an incredible talent. She's one of the best wrestlers I've seen on the independents. So I think she definitely gonna get a shot. And I'm sure there are more, like that'll come to me later. But I think at the top would be MSP and Davian.
Very fine talent to mention. Agree with you wholeheartedly with all of what you said for both of the MSP and Davian, because we've seen them in ring and multiple promotions, and they do put on fine matches in ring, entertainment wise. Outside the ring, they're gracious with their time. They want to speak with the fans. They, uh, absolutely great picks. Now we've spoken a ton of this wrestling. Now, one of the main reasons why I really reached out to you is because you've had this thing going on, and we see it behind you. There's a lot of stuff going on behind Mr. Edwin. Uh, please introduce us to this really cool project that got going on, because I'm excited for you, because I know that this is something that you've been really working hard on. You've got a passion for, and with the artwork and such that we've been seeing on your face page little by little, you can see that this is going to be something cool for Edwin. So please introduce to us what you have going on right now.
So yeah, I'm about to launch my first ever comic book. It's called The Ace. It's launching January 31st on this platform called Indiegogo. It's a crowdfunded platform. And yeah, man, I've been working on this project almost 2 years now behind the scenes. From like the initial idea to writing out a script to finding artists. It's been a real long, but really fun process. Uh, uh, Pro wrestling is one of my biggest kind of loves, but so are comic books. I early like '90s I discovered them, and I've been hooked ever since. Like I love the Marvel, DC, Spider-Man, X-Men, Green Lantern, Flash. Like that's been kind of along with wrestling. That's been my other love. So over the last probably like 5 years or so, there's been like a big independent comic movement. People kind of crowdfunding their own projects and coming up, being able to tell their stories without really needing anybody's help. They can do it themselves, find artists, find people to work on the project. So, I've been able to kind of find some artists, a lot of talented independent artists, and create my first ever comic book and kind of bring it to life. So I've been kind of sharing it out with people over my social media, and I'm excited. Like the artwork is already done for the book. I'm in the process of getting it lettered, and like I said, it's just gonna be a process, but I'm very excited to share this story with people. I think it's a really kind of fun story. It's reminiscent of the stories that I grew up on as a teenager that kind of got me hooked. So this is kind of like my take on them, like a bit of a homage, but also putting my own spin on it.
Uh, seeing the posts of the artwork and such, and you've been giving us little snippets of what's happening with this project. Um, First off, I want to start with the artistry of it, because it's very crisp, very clean. It looks amazing, and it really catches the eye. The colors that are projected on the artwork and such. Could you share with us who is the artist on this project, because it looks really good?
Yeah, I actually have a couple different ones, but the main artist is this Spanish uh, artist called Ibai Canales. He does the pencil work, and then the colors are by a colorist called Theo Gonzalez. They're both like independent, artists, and I found them through social media. They come recommended from this artist called Donald DeLay. He used to work for Image Comics, So he's kind of been in the business a bit, so he had some connections, and I was able to kind of, me and him are friends through Facebook and stuff, and I've gotten some commissions from him. So he was able to kind of introduce me to some people, and at least to Theo Gonzalez, the colorist. And yeah, so he worked with. I think they mend very well together. Like because when you see like the black and white art, you have to find the right person to color it, to bring out to make it pop, to make it stand out. And I think they really connected great together. So I've been very impressed and very kind of happy. And every time I got a page back, I just had like a smile. It's like these guys are bringing my stories to life, So it's exciting,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of other like artists. I have this artist called Sweens. He has an independent book called Oddity that got crowdfunded. He's in the process of finishing that up. He does the pencils and the colors for his own stuff. And I have another artist called Alan Alonso who did some work on there too. So I've been very lucky just be able to find these very talented artists and work with them. And like I said, they've taken any idea that I've had on the page and they've taken it to the next level, man. So I'm very excited for people to see the full thing. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
some pages and stuff on the actual page. It should be about like 5 pages that people can see, all the finished art to them. To give you, preview. You don't want to show the whole thing. You don't want to
No.
give spoilers, but there's gonna be enough that people can see and get an idea of what the story's about and everything. So
uh, Eye pleasing. It definitely catches the eye because you're scrolling. We go on Facebook, and I do everything with my phone. I don't have a computer, so every single thing that I do is always on my phone. So that's why I can't use the other avenues, like you were saying, the StreamYard, right, and the other recording software and such. That's why I use my phone. So my avenues are kind of limited, but when I'm when I'm floating on Facebook, bam, your pictures totally caught my eye because they pop right out as you're scrolling on the book. So fantastic work. I really love everything that you're getting as a finished product because it just looks really, really good. And again, crisp and clean. Um, Now, what's up with this story? Is this something that you've cultivated from something that you've always wanted to do by reading the comics and you've come up with this character and the storyline and all of that? What's going on with this story? And is it solely from Edwin's mind?
yeah, like I said, I grew up on like the early '90s comic books. There's this book called Darkhawk that I was just a huge fan. He's like a C-list superhero. Not too many people know him, but it's had like some similar themes about this young guy who finds this amulet, which gives him the ability to transform into like an armored superhero, and he kind of has to like discover kind of where he wants to be. He ends up meeting Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff and having these adventures. It's a really like I think like the first 25 issues or so are really good. Like they so like this is very much inspired by kind of Darkhawk, but with my own spin on it. It's a story of this guy called David Diaz, and he just turned 21 years old, and he's living in a small town. And he's got this job, but he feels like he's got a bigger purpose. He's trying to really figure out kind of where his life should go after. He just got out of college, and he's really trying to figure things out. And he ends up this seeing the shooting star crash land near a park nearby, and he ends up kind of checking out the wreckage, and he finds an object there that gives him the ability to transform into this armored being. And the story takes place 6 months after he finds the artifact, and he's kind of just living his life and kind of using the armor to take down like lowly criminals and thieves and stuff, keeping a low profile. And then one day, he has this alien bounty hunter shark shows up at his front door, and his whole life and everything he thought about the world changes. Because he lives in a normal world. There's no superheroes. There's nothing special. You know,
Right.
like he thinks like this armor is probably maybe some sort of NASA project or something. It might be some FBI tech or something. So he found it
Uh,
at.
So we can't just go to the store and buy one of these ambulance because I could really use one of those armor transformed armor kind of suit thingies. That would be fantastic.
That would, yeah, it'd solve a lot of problems. Yeah, like it's like a story. It's got some kind of small moments, but it's also got some actions, some fighting. And then at the end of it, we kind of take you on to the next. I want it to be an ongoing story. So I want to.
Yes.
I'm able to get it funded. Maybe put out one a year and be able to tell this
Nice.
story
Okay.
where character evolve and grow and discover different things and take you on a nice journey.
And I know you don't want to give us all of the info because you want us to check out the material, read the material, and get involved in the story ourselves. But I'm going to ask a question. There's always a love interest. What's her name? There's got to be a love interest, Edwin. What's her name?
There might or might not be a love interest. Let's just say,
Oh,
let's
damn.
just that there's this very fiery angel like woman in
Okay.
one of the backup stories of the book that her and David might have some interactions.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Like I said, I know you don't want to divulge all the info, but I had to ask because there's always a love interest that twists up the mind of the superhero. So where does it go from here? Like, obviously, you said you would like to continue. Do you already have a full, like a series, if you will? Do you have a full series written out, or are you doing this kind of story by story? What's going on with that?
I have like an outline written out. I did finish the second volume script. I got it to my artist. I've dedicated myself to really kind of going for it the next couple of years. So I'm at least down for two, maybe three volumes that I'll do
Oh,
myself. And if I gotta get everything done, I'll take care of it. And then after that, we'll see if it makes sense. But hopefully, if the project does okay, I just needed basically to hit the funding goal, and I can kind of make it work after that. Because like I said, I do have some stories I would love to tell over the next couple of years if
awesome.
everything. So.
Now, the writing process. Do you do a little Miyagi kind of meditation before you start writing, or do things just kind of swarm at you out of nowhere? Do you jot stuff on napkins and stuff them in your pocket and put it all together? How's the writing process with Edwin? Because I could never do that. I mean, I've taken journalism, but writing has always been a struggle of getting the body together for me. How do you go about writing?
Yes, mostly notes. I do write every idea down, and I kind of once I have kind of an outline of it, then I have to, I do have to meditate. I do have to shut everything off, the phone, everything, and then, then I actually can start writing down the full, writing down each page. I have to break it down by panels of the page for comics, so it's a little different than just writing out like a full script. But
Right.
yeah, so like once the process, and then once I've written down the outline, then the last sweep is the dialogue, kind of figuring out what needs to be said on each panel and just that whole kind of breakdown. So it's a couple like 3-4 steps that I have to do before each script, and like it comes in a process. Nothing can be forced. Like once you have those
Oh,
notes, you make sense of the notes, and even once I have the whole script down, like I said, the dialogue is very important. So I have to go give it another sweep for the dialogue and breakdown. Right? Does this make sense? Where does a story start? Where
exactly.
does it end? And once I'm able to do that, then the final one's just an edit to see like, all right, did I misspell anything? Did I put the wrong context or anything? So it's about 4 or 5 sweeps through, and depending on, sometimes I could do it like in a week until like the second volume story came out really quick, just because I think everything was just building up. Like I had all these,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
just jotted it and then got it done in like a week. But yeah, well, it's a pretty involved process.
Now, as you're writing, are you seeing the characters in your head and kind of putting it as you're writing out this story, or are you seeing something? I could take this character and do this. Oh, I should write about that. I mean, is there a thing with the character visually in your head?
Yeah, like I have a main idea of what the character even before like uh they're fully created on like a page as far as visually. Like I have an
Hmm.
idea of what the character looks like and his attitude and stuff in my head. And then, I usually reach out to an artist to do like a character sheet where they basically they'll draw the character in different poses and forms to give you
Oh,
an
okay.
idea because it's basically kind of like it's basically like a roadmap for my main artist. That way he doesn't have to like come up with everything from scratch. So he really has like an idea of what, let's say, David looks like. And then he can tweak him and then change it and put him in the band how he wants. But at least he has like a roadmap to it. So
Right.
that's like another kind of layer to it. But yeah, in my mind, I have like a good idea. And then, like once they bring them to life, it becomes even easier to write. Like that's why
Mm.
volume two was so easy because I already had all these visuals and everything. And the first story was mostly done. So it's like with the second story, everything's kind of in my head. Even when I'm creating new characters, it became a lot easier. I can put them into this world that was already created. So
And I know you've spoken earlier about when you're getting these pages, you're feeling this excitement. You're getting some of the product coming to life, taking all of this time, effort, thought process, and everything that goes along with the writing and such. It's got to feel so much pride. Getting it seems like you're almost at the tail end of this, Edwin. Is that correct? We're almost right there to see what Edwin's been really pushing for here.
oh yeah, but the thing about crowdfunding though is that once something ends, something else begins. So once I launch it, I have to promote it. So that's another couple of months of sanity. But most of the heavy lifting will be done, and I can kind of rest as far as like I know that most of it will be done. Most of like the hard work is done. It's just basically getting the artists together. Everybody's got busy lives and stuff. That's why I kind of wanted to make sure most of it was done before I launched it. So like I said, there's going to be different little hiccups because I have to get the book funded. And if I get the book funded, then I got to figure out how I'm going to get the books to everybody's hands. Considering
Right.
the United States Postal Service has been. Yeah, it's
uh,
gonna
obvi-
be
Obviously, you're a wrestling fan. Is Dan the Man making an appearance in the new comic book? Is El Jabroni? Is El Jabroni in this new comic? Please tell us, sir.
I know there's going to be no wrestlers in this comic. You never know what future ideas might have. If
Okay.
everything goes right with this book, I do have some fun ideas that
Okay.
are a little wrestling related that I love to kind of mess around with, but one book at a time.
Hey, if you want to do a story about a hero, break out some El Jabroni, baby, because he's been missing for quite some time. He's off the grid. I don't know. They killed him. Uh, they say they killed him at Test of Strength. One T.J. Howell and T.J. Howell, uh, the caddy, Caddy Tucker, and one Ryan Frost, collectively known as Cold Cash. They ripped his face off, and we haven't seen him since. So if you could revive that, being selfish, if you could revive him in a comic, that would be amazing. I think I'll be the only one funding on that one, though. uh, Edwin, I cannot thank you for all of the information that you just gave, because this isn't for me, my friend. This is for us, the fans. I appreciate all the time and the information and part of your life that I've been really kind of wanting to dive into, this comic end of it. You shared so much with us today, and I cannot appreciate it enough, my man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. It's been fun.
Absolutely. I know we talked a bunch between wrestling and the comic. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there, uh, give us some info, definitely before I let you go, give us how we can find your comic stuff, how we can help you out, and all of that good stuff. But is there something that I've missed, maybe that pertains to the comic that you would like to tell us? Because we did cover quite a bit, but I don't know everything, what you've got going on. So did I miss anything?
No, but I think we hit on everything that's important. As far
All
as
right.
what you can do, like if you're following me on Facebook, I do post the mailing list link for those who are kind of new to crowdfunding. The mailing list is used to sign up your email. That way, when the book launches, you'll get contacted for the link for the book. It'll also give you access to a special trading card that you'll get exclusively through the mailing list. It's the only way you'll get it. Actually, give me one quick second. I'd like
Oh
to
yeah,
show.
sure. What are you wearing for merch, my friend? What do you got going on there for merch?
So MSP shirt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Gotta represent the boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is I just got the proof of the trading card.
Oh, wow.
So that's the it's like anybody who used to collect the old '90s Marvel cards. You know, it's a
That's pretty
little
cool.
homage to that. So yeah, this is an exclusive. The only way to get is through signing up for the mailing list. All you have to do is it'll ask you for your email. You click on it, and then they'll send you a confirmation email. So you just click on the confirmation link. And that'll be it. When the book launches, I'll send a big email to everybody who signed up, and it'll send you the Indiegogo link, and you can go and you can check out the page and see if you'd like to support it. So it makes it nice and easy.
Wow.
And after that, I have my Indie Wrestling Matters channel, which is my pro wrestling channel. Like I said, I'm close to 6,000 subs. Like I'll restate again. Hey, thank to Foggy, thank you to everybody who shared the link, all the wrestlers who've been awesome about helping me have been cool with everything. And like I said, the platform is yours. I have an open invitation to any independent wrestlers, who I've met and I follow. If you want to get a promo up there, you want to get an interview, whatever the situation is, I'll work with you to get it out there. The platform does get pretty decent views, even though the content has slowed down. I'm still picking up subs. Like I said, the fact that I'm close to 6,000 without hardly posting is pretty. There's a lot of views on there. There's a lot of content for people to see. So you never know who could be watching, who could be checking it out. So platform's yours if you want it.
Wow. So much information from a fantastic friend that we've met at wrestling, and now he's opened up his life a little bit more to his comic part of his life, and this has been a fantastic hour, Edwin, and I cannot thank you enough. And before I let you go, and again, I don't want to hack your last name. I'm not that bright, so you got to give me your name one more time so I say it correctly, my friend.
Sure. The name is Edwin Acevedo.
Acevedo, right? Acevedo.
Do.
Acevedo.
Yes.
I see. I'm hacking it still, and you just told me. So I'm gonna. This has been Stirring the Pot on a very fine Saturday with our very special guest. I'm not gonna hack his last name. My friend Edwin. Thank you so much for spending the time with us, sir.
Yeah.